Top of the bill fight now, super featherweight, 10 rounds between Floyd Havard, an excellent boxer, against Eddie Lloyd, who hopes to wreck Havard's career. Let's find out what the two experts think with Harry Mullen and, first of all, John Rawling.
Well, I think it promises to be something special. Floyd Havard, a real silky, skilled sort of fighter, and barring upsets, I think he should emerge as a classy winner tonight, Harry.
Well, you would think so, but Floyd has an unhappy record in these sort of stay-busy non-title fights. He broke his hand in one and needed 17 stitches after another, so nothing is certain in this business. This is a big chance for Eddie Lloyd, and he'll be going flat out to take it.
I got power. I can hit. I've just got to keep on top of him, and if I hit him, then, you know, I can beat him. Floyd is a very good fighter. There's no getting away from that. He's fought for the world title, don't forget, against a good champion.
And what's your motivation?
My motivation is for myself to do well. I've got a wife and 3 children, and my father's memory.
It's an all-Welsh affair, and Eddie says that he's fighting for his family and for his children, and it's always been his ambition to fight a champion. He's got all the motivation in some sense, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he's got plenty, you know. Obviously, I've been in that position so many times, you know. So I haven't taken Eddie Lloyd lightly. I know Eddie going back years and years, and he's a tough fighter. I honestly think that he's coming to the end of his career now. But at the end of the day, you know, he's going to give us all tonight.
Time now to go ringside and join Harry Mullen and John Rawling.
Seconds out.
Floyd Havard against Eddie Lloyd. Havard, 28 years old, from Swansea. Eddie Lloyd, another Welshman from Rhyl, 31. Havard, a real classy boxer. Beaten John Davidson as an amateur, also beaten Colin McMillan. And earlier in the year fought for the IBF version of the world title. Then he took a bit of a bad beating against John Molina, a tremendous champion out of the Dover stable. But he came back after that and produced a consummate performance in really giving Neil Haddock a boxing lesson.
I think the trouble was he took the Molina fight too early. He'd been out of the ring for a long time, and I was just asking too much to come back against perhaps one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And I think the British title win over Haddock showed more of the true form and potential of Floyd Havard.
Havard's career in its early stages blighted by injury problems, bad ones at that, to his hands. They really did threaten his career at one stage. But he's come back from that sort of setback well, rebuilt that career, and now he's talking about even dropping down to fight at the 9-stone limit against Steve Robinson for the WBO featherweight title. Well, what a Welsh occasion that one would be. Good fast hands from Havard. Turned pro way back in 1985, then with Frank Warren.
Lloyd has been a pro even longer. This is his 12th season as a pro.
Lloyd has mixed in good class as well. Beaten Sugar Gibiliru back in 1987 and lost a real bruising encounter, I remember, against the late Najib Daho a year earlier.
I think he might have progressed further, Ronnie. He's a tendency to cut rather easily. Lost quite a lot of fights and cut eyes. And with the speed and accuracy and consistency of Havard's jab, I think there's a real possibility that we'll see him cut again tonight.
His face already starting to look a little bit reddened above the eyes, Lloyd. Where that nagging right jab from Havard is finding its way home. Closing stages of the opening period. Good little exchange. Well, Eddie Lloyd came on strong towards the end of that round. Havard probably did enough to take it with his work earlier in the fight. Havard, 29 professional fights before this, 27 wins, 2 defeats, and 16 of those wins coming by knockout. Eddie Lloyd, in contrast, 3 years older, professional since 1983, in his 38th professional fight. 15 wins, 19 defeats, 3 draws, 9 inside the distance. Self-managed fighter. Well, it was a terrific exchange towards the end of that round. Eddie Lloyd, though, I think might have picked up a cut above his eye.
I think the cut's actually in the bridge of his nose.
Is it?
Seconds out. Round 2.
There's a cut. You're absolutely right, Harry. There's a cut on the bridge of Eddie Lloyd's nose, and it doesn't look a particularly pleasant one either. Referee Dave Parris had a close look at it. It's not right across, as the cuts you remember, well, you say memorably, you almost cringe at the thought. That one which Colin Jones picked up. Incidentally, Floyd Havard comes from the same amateur club as Colin Jones. Corner's done a reasonable job in staunching the flow of blood, although a little trickle now starting to come down the nose of Lloyd, who'll be well aware of that.
I think that Havard jab will soon have the cut open again.
Oh, lovely work. Showed him the right and then beautiful hand speed, teeing him off with the left.
I say Havard looks as if he has a couple of pounds that he could relatively easily shed there. I think he could make a comfortable featherweight if he really put his mind to it.
Well, he has fought around about the 9 stone featherweight limit in the past.
It would certainly add even extra spice to an already lively division if he does come down to featherweight.
If Havard sort of keeps winning and winning well, though, although let's not talk too soon. Lloyd is in there as a force to be reckoned with still, but if he does keep on winning and winning well, of course there are rich pickings to be had on the world scene. He's had that one world title fight which came out of nowhere really against Juan John Molina, and I think he picked one of the outstanding pound for pound fighters in the world there.
Would have been interesting to have seen how he would have fared with Molina had he taken that fight with 3 or 4 fights of this nature behind him. You know, had he gone in well tuned up and ready for the fight instead of coming off a layoff of I think about a year.
Whether or not Molina would have been quite as keen to take it, of course, is it?
But I don't doubt Molina probably would have won it, but I think it would have been a much more competitive fight than it turned out to be.
This fight was due to go 10 rounds. Has in fact now been signalled as an 8-round fight.
I think if that cut gets much worse, the question becomes academic anyway, whether it's 8 or 10.
Blood there you can see trickling down the side of Eddie Lloyd's nose. Lloyd reported recently to have been working children's donkey rides on Rill Beach. It's his hometown. Here's some more of the action from Havard. He saw the left and then the right rather, and then the left, and came through so quickly. Good hand speed, hasn't he?
Shows no signs of slowing up at 29 either. He's as sharp as he was when he went pro.
Dave Davis, the cut man, who all the time while his trainer is talking to him is dabbing away at that blooded nose. Look as though they're doing a good job there. Dave Parris, the referee, came round and had a long, hard look.
Seconds out.
The job's well done. 3rd round of 8. Floyd Havard in the black shorts, The British super featherweight champion against Eddie Lloyd, an all-Welsh clash. Lloyd in his 38th professional fight.
Oh, and
Good
he was
right.
hurt by that right, I thought.
Good right from Havard. He walked onto it, didn't he? There's a little wry grin on his face, Lloyd, but it's not the sort of taunting "that didn't hurt me" grin. It's the sort of grin which suggests, I know I was beaten beaten by a great punch.
That's an acknowledgement from an old pro of a good hit.
He's a tough old fighter, Eddie Lloyd. Is the sort of bloke who you could imagine being involved in the game for a long time.
I would hope he would be. Yeah, he's very enthusiastic about his boxing. He puts everything into every fight too. As it is just a shame that he has this tendency to cut, because I'm sure he would have had a better and more rewarding career had it not been for that. But a good value pro always gives everything that he's got. And he's having his moments here too.
Good gutsy, a flurry of punches from Lloyd, and that's his best spell of the fight so far, and Havard being forced to cover up. Havard all the time nagging away with that right jab onto the injured left eye. Corner's done a good job though with that cut on the nose. Oh, good little flurry of blows from Havard. Closing stages of the third round. Solid blows from Havard. Lloyd took them well though.
It must be sickening, those jabs, to have that slamming into your face time after time after time.
Havard building up a comfortable points advantage, but the worst stage is in that fight when Eddie Lloyd showed that it's not going to be totally one-way traffic.
Oh, he had a good little spell at the beginning of the round there. Pinned Havard on the ropes and made Havard defend for a good 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Saw that hand speed though from Havard, didn't we, again and again. It's the right which is such a damaging punch. It's the right lead. There we go.
Lloyd did well to stay upright from that punch and to come back as well as he did. In fact, it was after that that punch that Lloyd had his best spell of the round.
Havard's building up a comfortable points advantage, I would suggest. Let's see a little bit of that action from Lloyd.
10 seconds.
Bravery, Harry.
Well, he's a terrific professional.
Seconds out. Round 4.
This is a big opportunity for him as well, let's not forget.
Absolutely. If Lloyd were to win this one, at the age of 31, he'd suddenly be a force to be reckoned with. The world would have to stand up and take note of him. Or at least Wales. Oh, good shot. Perfect. What a very, very good punch that was.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Put down by a real thudding left. Oh, Havard's going for broke now. Just see how well he picks his punches. So often you'll see a fighter flailing away now, but here I suspect you'll see just why Havard is such class. Lloyd's regrouped well, though.
It was a perfect southpaw left that put him down.
Terrific shot, wasn't it?
But you could see, you know, what a good old pro Lloyd is. He didn't panic and got on one knee, took a full advantage of the count, and has come back quite strongly.
You could really hear the punch thud home. It almost echoed and reverberated back off the old walls here at the York Hall. Oh, another good shot. Lloyd starting to look very tired out there. Dave Parris is having a good look at him in close. Starting to look a little bit unsteady on the feet. Surely that's going to be the end of it. That was blinding hand speed, and the referee's had enough. He's seen enough, and that was a beautiful combination from Havard to finish it. We talked about those boxing skills, and old Eddie Lloyd there, he's telling him there that that was just the better man who won on the night. Superb combination which finished it.
That was championship class boxing from Havard. That's why he deserves, I think, another, I wouldn't say another crack at the world title, but he certainly deserves a good European shot.
Let's see again how the first knockdown came. It was a terrific
You won't see
left.
a better southpaw left than this.
Woof.
He's got every ounce of that 9 stone 3 behind it as well.
Still there's that smile, isn't there, on the face of Lloyd. Now this is the final knockdown which ended it all.
Winner, Floyd Havard.
Just a perfect combination.
Well, Floyd, by any standards, that was a clinical performance. You must be pleased.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. You know, looking back on my performance, it was a good display against a very courageous opponent. You know, I've known Eddie going back a lot of years, so I'm very, you know, how can I say, thrilled, especially when I've been out since March. You know, I'd like to have gone a few more rounds, but you know, you take a chance when you got the chance.